A retired father of 3 who was left with a hole in his face after having a tumour removed says he is now able to go outside again after having reconstructive surgery. Donnie Fritts, 55, was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer in 2003 and was told he would have to make a choice between his face or his life. After speaking with his wife, Sharon, Mr Fritts made the agonizing decision to go ahead with the surgery, which left him without a nose, upper lip, or palate. But now the former carpenter, from Georgia, has been able to kiss his wife for the first time in a decade after having a new face fitted, and says he now wants to take her out to dinner. He said, "If you've ever had a bad dream, that is what it is like, except you don't wake up. I would have to chew by pushing my fingers down on my bottom teeth, which meant I was too embarrassed to dine out. Kids would look at me sometimes, they'd look at me with fear, then they'd run back to their mothers. I looked like a monster. Now it's incredible, Sharon and I can go out in public, and for the first time in years people don't look or point. I can take her out to dinner and on dates. I no longer feel like I need to be a recluse." Mr Fritts, a father of 3, married Sharon in 2000, 6 years after separating from his first wife. But just 2 years later, he started to notice unusual pains in his teeth. Then, one night as he tucked into his favorite meal of steak and chips, he felt a worrying pain in his mouth. "I told Sharon it felt like my teeth were coming loose," he said. "It was really painful." The next day Mr Fritts saw a dentist who referred him to a doctor who thought it was simply a sinus infection and prescribed antibiotics. Despite the increasing pain and his teeth growing looser every day, a further 14 doctors gave the same diagnosis. It was only after a horrifying discovery in the spring of 2003 that Mr Fritts, from Georgia, the United States, was sent to a specialist who could tell him what was really wrong. Mrs Fritts said, "I knew it was something serious as Donnie's pain got worse and worse." Over the next 6 years Mr Fritts had to have another 35 operations to stabilize his face. He sometimes wore a dust mask in public to hide the hole, and it broke his heart when he saw little children run to their parents in fear after seeing him. Mr Fritts became increasingly reclusive, so Sharon found a prosthetic expert who used to make disguises for CIA agents and got him to design a new face for Donnie. However, just a few weeks after having the face fitted, Mr Fritts contracted a bacterial infection which threatened to kill him a second time as it was so close to his brain. Luckily, after 2 weeks in intensive care, he beat the infection, but it left him back at square one, living with the large gap in his face. However, thanks to a new series of operations including fitting a metal cage to his face to hold the prosthetic in place, Mr Fritts has a new face.